Welcome to the channel Turning Points. Motivational story Journey from fear to fluency. Arjun had always feared English. It was not just a subject, but it was his biggest obstacle, a constant reminder of his shortcomings. Whenever he tried to speak, his tongue felt heavy, his throat dry, and his mind completely blank. The words, though familiar in books, refused to form when he needed them the most. The fear was not about getting the grammar wrong, it was about the way people reacted when he did. From a young age, Arjun avoided situations where he had to speak in English. He would lower his head in class whenever the teachers looked for volunteers. He would pretend to be busy when his classmates practiced English presentations. His fear was not imaginary, it had been reinforced time and again by laughter, judgment, and the sting of embarrassment. One day, during an important school competition, Arjun was asked to introduce himself in English. He stood in front of a large audience, his hands shaking, his heart pounding. He had rehearsed his lines so many times in his head, but when the moment arrived, nothing came out. His silence filled the room, and within seconds, whispers and giggles spread among the crowd. That moment stayed with him not because of the laughter, but because of the feeling, the overwhelming realization that his fear had controlled him. Days turned into weeks, and his fear grew stronger. He felt that if he could not speak English, he was not smart enough, not good enough, not able to achieve anything. It was not just about a language anymore, it was about his self worth. One afternoon, while sitting alone in a park, he observed a group of children playing. They spoke in mixed English, mixing words from different languages. They were laughing at their own mistakes and continuing without a care. They were not afraid of being wrong. They were learning by doing a concept and Arjun had never truly embraced. It struck him like lightning. The only way to learn was to stop fearing mistakes. That night, he made a promise to himself. He would not aim for perfection but just for progress. He started whispering small English phrases to himself before bed, narrating his daily activities in English while brushing his teeth and greeting strangers with a simple good morning. These tiny steps did not seem like much, but they felt different. They felt like courage. A month passed and he pushed himself further. He began watching English movies to mimic the way native speakers spoke. He paused scenes and repeated sentences even if they did not sound perfect. He forced himself to ask people for directions even if he fumbled over his words. And slowly the fear began to fade. 6 months later, an opportunity arrived that Arjun would have once avoided at all costs. It was a class debate. His first instinct was to decline, but something inside him whispered, try. He had practiced for months, spoken to himself in front of the mirror. He had prepared his mind to embrace perfection. This was his moment, not to be flawless, but to prove to himself that he had grown. The day of the debate came, and as he stood in front of his classmates, he could still feel the nervousness creeping in. But this time he spoke. His words were not perfect. He paused, corrected himself, and stumbled a few times, but he kept. When he finished, there was silence, no laughter, no whispers. Instead, there was applause not because he was perfect but because he had faced his fear and won. From that day forward, Arjun never let fear decide his actions. He understood that English was never the problem, his mindset was the problem. He learned that fluency was not about speaking without mistakes but about speaking despite. After the class debate, Arjun did not stop. He made it a mission to help others who feared. He started a small group in his school where students could practice without fear of judgment. His journey inspired many, proving that fluency was not about perfection but persistence. Months later, Arjun found himself at a national competition. This time, he was not just another contestant, he was a speaker people admired. He shared his journey, the struggles, and the lessons. And as he spoke, he realized he had conquered his fear. Fluency was not about knowing every word, it was about believing in yourself. Arjun's story was not about learning English, it was about transformation. And now, as he stood before an audience, he knew he had found his voice. This is the reality for many learners. If you have ever felt like Arjun, trapped by fear and self doubt, know that the only way forward is to start. Start speaking, start learning, and start believing in yourself. The journey may not be easy, but every word spoken, every mistake made, and every small success will bring you closer to fluency. The first step is the hardest, but once you take it, the path becomes easier. Subscribe, learn, and grow with us. Please subscribe to my channel. Watch next video for more tips.